Shedeur just signed a $50 million deal outside of his NFL contract. Let that settle in for a moment. A rookie quarterback just turned down the traditional playbook, skipped past the league's blueprint, and secured a fortune that doesn't come from touchdowns or playoff bonuses, but from leverage. It's a move so bold, so unprecedented, that NFL owners are scrambling to figure out what it even means. And Cleveland? Cleveland just got snubbed, publicly, loudly, and in a way that might haunt them for years. Because this isn't just a business story. This is a power shift. Let's start with the number, $50 million.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
That's before a playoff snap, before a Pro Bowl, before any stat padding late in the fourth quarter. That's off-field money, autonomous money, Shedeur Sanders money. Where did it come from? Multiple sources, diverse ventures, a customized contract crafted around a revolutionary clause called prime equity, a brainchild of none other than Deion Sanders himself. It gives Shedeur full control over his image, brand, and partnerships, letting him operate like a private enterprise in a system designed to keep players tightly boxed in. The kid just broke the box. And the league doesn't know what to do about it. Because this goes far beyond jersey sales or Nike endorsements. Though let's talk about those too, because he's already dominating there. Before he even stepped onto an NFL field, Shedeur cleared $15 million in jersey sales. That's not just hype. That's brand power. That's the kind of cultural relevance the NFL lives for. And the Browns? They had front row seats, and did absolutely nothing with it. While Cleveland sat on him, benched him, and shrugged off his confidence, Shedeur built an empire in the background. A multi-stream portfolio of influence. A Nike endorsement deal with a rumored ceiling of $250 million over 4 years. Signature barbecue sauces hitting shelves nationwide. A high-end streetwear line with crossover appeal in the sneaker market. Sports campaigns. AT&T commercials. A mobile app partnership targeting Gen Z fans. Shedeur isn't just building a brand. He's building an ecosystem. And here's where it gets brutal for Cleveland. He did it while they ignored him. While Stefanski ran a veteran-led offense. While the team downplayed his readiness. While he was saying respectfully, "I'm built for this," and they responded with a depth chart that treated him like a project. So now he's showing them what he's built for. And it's not just Cleveland that's stunned, it's every owner in the league. Because this isn't a typical rookie doing a few ad campaigns during bye week. This is a young quarterback declaring in real time that he will not be controlled. That the NFL's gatekeeping era is over. That being a franchise player doesn't mean only throwing touchdowns, it means owning your name, your image, your worth. And don't let the calm demeanor fool you, this move was surgical. Shedeur isn't out here on social media dunking on Cleveland. He didn't release a dramatic video montage. He didn't call anyone out. He let the numbers speak. $50 million speaks louder than any mic drop. And the message is crystal clear. If you're not going to bet on me, I'll do it myself. Let's pause there because that's the headline within the headline. Shedeur Sanders just became the embodiment of something terrifying for the NFL's old guard. An athlete with total control. Not just of the ball but of the business. Of his own narrative. Of the rules that have always served the owners more than the players. This prime equity clause? It's going to change everything. Think of it like this. Most players get drafted into a system that owns their rights, their likeness, their media appearances, their everything. Endorsements go through team approval. Branding has limits. Visibility is filtered. Shedeur said, "No thanks." His clause allows him to opt out of league-restricted licensing. It lets him negotiate independently. It ensures that any money made off his name goes directly to him. It's athlete autonomy in its purest form. And this clause is not just smart. It's inspirational. Because now every college prospect watching from afar is learning something they weren't taught before. You can build the business before the touchdowns. You don't need to wait for a Pro Bowl to take control of your financial future. You don't need to rely on the league to define your value. You are the value. That's what Shedeur is proving. And that's why the NFL is rattled. Because this isn't just a one-off deal. It's a blueprint. Now other players are going to ask for the prime equity clause. Agents are going to demand it. College athletes entering the draft are going to bring marketing teams to the table. And front offices? They're going to have to adjust or get left behind. And what about Cleveland? Well, they fumbled it. They had the quarterback. They had the personality. They had the cultural moment. They had the guy. And instead of building around him, they told him to wait. They told him to trust the process. They told him to sit behind quarterbacks who were never going to carry the brand the way he could. And now, he's taking the brand with him. Because that $50 million isn't just money. It's momentum. It's proof of concept. It's leverage. Now Shedeur doesn't need Cleveland. He doesn't need their playbook. He doesn't need to be a starter just to stay relevant. His platform is independent now. So if they want him to stay, they're going to have to earn him. And if they don't, he'll go somewhere else. Somewhere smart. Somewhere forward-thinking. Somewhere that understands that quarterbacks aren't just field generals anymore. They're CEOs. That's the future Shedeur's building. And the Browns? They're watching it happen from the outside. Again. So what happens next? Does Cleveland pivot? Do they apologize, recenter the offense, and finally invest in the one player who could make them matter long-term? Or do they stick with what's comfortable, let Shedeur go elsewhere, and spend the next 5 years wondering how they let another superstar slip through their fingers? The league's watching. The agents are watching. And somewhere out there, there's a new generation of quarterbacks taking notes. So what do you think? Is Shedeur changing the game or just starting a trend? Did Cleveland drop the ball, or were they never ready for a player like him to begin with? Drop your take in the comments and don't hold back. This story is rewriting the future of football. And if you're into the deals, the drama, and the total domination of NFL traditions, hit that subscribe button. Because this isn't just a player making history. It's the playbook for the next era. You can feel it in the owners' meetings. In the urgent phone calls between execs and agents. In the slightly too long no-comment responses from front office reps when asked how their rookies plan to manage endorsements next season. Shedeur didn't just sign a $50 million outside the league deal. He cracked open the vault and showed every young athlete exactly where the keys are. And let's be real, NFL owners are terrified. For years, decades really, the league has operated under a rigid ecosystem of control. From media appearances to brand licensing to post-game press access, every piece of the player experience was filtered through team channels. You were the product, but the team owned the packaging. Then came Shedeur. And now, that whole model is up in flames. Because what Shedeur just did wasn't a flex. It was a blueprint. He said, you can build a global brand before you ever take a hit in the NFL. You can sign your own deals. You can move like a mogul, not just a player. And the most dangerous part for the old-school league operators? He pulled it off before they saw it coming. Cleveland didn't just get snubbed. They got caught flat-footed. While they were treating Shedeur like a developmental project, he was securing generational wealth and rewriting how rookie quarterbacks approach power. Think about that, a rookie with more leverage than most 10-year veterans. Not because of his draft slot. Not because of a miracle playoff run. But because he understood something the league never wanted players to understand: you don't have to wait. Not anymore. Shedeur's jersey sales alone, $15 million before he even took a snap, proved that the traditional gatekeepers don't gate anything anymore. Fans decide. The market decides. Social media decides. And Shedeur? He's fluent in all three. So when Cleveland thought they were managing a young prospect quietly, respectfully, behind the scenes, Shedeur was building an empire, loudly, globally, and without asking for permission. And now the owners are realizing they're not just managing players. They're negotiating with brands. Shedeur is Nike. He's EA Sports. He's AT&T. He's his own economy. That's the real threat here. Because once athletes stop needing the league for visibility, the power shifts. Control breaks. And the traditional NFL hierarchy, the one where teams dictate who shines and who doesn't, starts to disintegrate. Shedeur didn't just break the mold. He vaporized it. And the prime equity clause? That's the atomic core of this explosion. Written with the help of his father, Dion, a man who understands media, image, and influence better than half the NFL combined, that clause rewrites how image rights are handled in professional sports. Under prime equity, Shedeur retains full control over his name, image, likeness, branding, and commercial partnerships. Full autonomy. Full monetization. No league cut. No team approval. No watered-down deals through third-party reps. Just his brand. His terms. His profit. Think about what that means long-term. No more waiting for the league to feature you. No more fighting over social media content rights. No more cutting in sponsors through the team just to get a few crumbs of your own name. This is player liberation. And you better believe younger athletes are taking notes. Right now, top college quarterbacks are sitting with their advisors going, "Wait, he did that?" At 22. Yes, he did. And the NFL wasn't ready. You can almost hear the panic behind the scenes. Teams scrambling to adjust their messaging. League lawyers poring over contract language trying to figure out how this even happened. PR departments drafting internal memos about modernizing our approach to player marketing. They're not evolving. They're reacting. And Shedeur? He's just watching it unfold. Calm. Collected. Already 10 steps ahead. That's the other part of this that's driving executives crazy. He's not loud about it. Not reckless. Not throwing it in anyone's face. He's just doing it. Professionally. Strategically. Silently dominating an off-field game that most players don't even enter until their third contract. And now, Cleveland's left holding the bag. Again. Let's not sugarcoat it. This is a major L for the Browns. They had the chance to build around a generational talent. Not just a quarterback, but a movement. A brand. A modern-day marketing juggernaut who could also ball out on Sundays. But instead of investing early, on the field, in the media, in the city, they benched him. Dismissed his confidence. Tried to manage the narrative, while the narrative slipped away. Now, that narrative belongs to Shedeur. And the Browns? They're not even in the first chapter anymore. Let's get into what this means moving forward. Teams are going to have to relearn how to handle rookie stars. It's not just about game reps and practice time anymore. It's about brand partnerships, equity clauses, personal management teams, and global strategies. Players are walking into locker rooms with legal teams, marketing agencies, and personal PR. And guess what? They should. Because for too long, the NFL has treated rookies like lottery tickets. High upside, minimal input, total control. Shedeur flipped the script. He said, "You're not investing in me. I'm investing in you. And unless you have a plan, on the field and off, you're not in the conversation." The next time a rookie walks into a team meeting with a $250 million brand endorsement behind him, the team won't get to call the shots. They'll be pitching themselves. The dynamic is shifting. And Shedeur? He's the catalyst. So where does he go from here? Honestly, wherever he wants. He's not dependent on Cleveland. Or even on the NFL. He could sit out a season and still out-earn 80% of the league in endorsements alone. That's how disruptive this is. It's not just about where he plays. It's about where he chooses to build next. Will it be in Cleveland if they wise up and hand him the keys? Or somewhere else? Somewhere smarter, more aligned with his vision, more forward-thinking? That decision will define the next chapter of this saga. And it will send a message to every other team in the league. Adapt or get left behind. This isn't a one-off headline. This is the start of a revolution. The $50 million deal? That was the spark. The Nike mega contract? That was the fuel. And now, we're watching the fire spread through the NFL boardrooms in real time, while Shedeur sits comfortably at the center, cool, composed, and in complete control. You have to understand, this level of autonomy from a rookie is not just rare. It's unprecedented. And it's forcing the league and its most powerful owners to confront something they've avoided for decades. What happens when the player becomes bigger than the team? Because that's what this is. It's not just a quarterback with a brand. It's a brand that happens to throw lasers down the field. Shedeur isn't waiting to be crowned the face of a franchise. He's already the face of something bigger. He's building a platform that reaches far beyond the locker room, the huddle, the Sunday highlight reel. We're talking about a player who can sell out a sneaker drop, move barbecue sauce in national chains, and headline a tech conference without ever needing a playoff appearance. You think owners aren't sweating? Well, they are. Not because they don't like Shedeur. No, they'd love to have him on their terms, under their control, fitting into their system. But Shedeur doesn't fit in anyone's system. And that's what makes this moment so dangerous for the NFL's traditional power brokers. Because for the first time, we're seeing what happens when an athlete arrives fully formed. Not just as a talent, but as a business, as a media force, as a movement. And that movement? It doesn't ask for permission. It builds. It partners. It earns. And here's the kicker. While most rookies are still figuring out how to read a defense or balance a playbook with a media schedule, Shedeur already has an entire business infrastructure behind him. He's not just playing chess. He built the board. That prime equity clause? It's not a gimmick. It's a power lever. It's how he negotiated multiple 6- to 7-figure deals across various industries before stepping foot on a professional field. It's how he walked into the NFL with leverage no team could prepare for. And now, teams are scrambling to figure out how to recruit, retain, and respect players like him. Because Shedeur is just the beginning. You don't think top-tier college athletes are watching this unfold like it's their personal masterclass in modern athlete empowerment? Of course they are. They're studying every move, every deal, every clause. every partnership. And they're realizing that the old model, the one where the league owns everything, the team dictates your image and you smile politely for the sponsors they choose, is done. Over. The future is self-owned, self-branded, and self-directed. And Shedeur's not just proving that, it looks like he's teaching it. Here's where this really starts to get uncomfortable for the NFL. Shedeur's moves aren't hostile. They're not divisive. They're not rebellious. He's not staging boycotts or starting lawsuits or holding out for a better contract. He's just doing it better than them. That's what hurts. Because you can't label him a problem. He's smart, polished, professional. He shows up, does the work, keeps his head down, and still ends up in headlines for all the right reasons. But those headlines? They come without team approval, without league spin, without the media filter. They come straight from the Shedeur Sanders machine, fully independent, fully monetized, and fully effective. And here's the truly wild part. Cleveland still had a chance to get in on the ground floor. They could have positioned themselves as the franchise that embraced the future. The organization that saw the vision early and said, let's ride. Not just for the football upside, but for the branding, the culture, the relevance. Instead, they acted like this was 2005. Benched him. Dismissed his media confidence. Played the wait and develop game, as if that wasn't the exact playbook he just shredded. They didn't just snub Shedeur. They snubbed themselves. And now the rest of the league is watching this awkward standoff unfold like it's a Netflix series, except it's real and it's going to reshape how teams treat rookie contracts, endorsement negotiations, and image rights forever. Here's what's coming next. Mark this down. Agents are going to demand prime equity-style clauses. It won't be called that. But the concept, full control over personal branding and direct endorsement revenue, is going to become a standard ask. Teams are going to start building player brand departments. Not just PR reps, but full teams that help manage and integrate a player's brand into the team's marketing strategy. Because if they don't, players will do it themselves and leave you behind. The salary cap narrative will shift. Because what happens when a player makes $100 million outside of football before their second contract? Suddenly, rookie deals mean nothing if you can't offer alignment on values, vision, and branding. And 4. The athlete as entrepreneur model becomes the expectation. No more waiting until retirement to figure out what's next. No more, he'll make a great broadcaster one day. Players will be equity holders, co-founders, media investors from day one. And all of this, traced back to one deal. One quarterback. One statement of self-worth. One refusal to play by outdated rules. It's not just bold. It's historic. So where does this leave Cleveland? Honestly, in trouble. Because this isn't just about losing a player. It's about being the first franchise to publicly get left behind by the new model. Shedeur Sanders offered more than a high football IQ or a strong arm. He offered relevance, culture, movement, and the Browns hesitated. Now, they're watching the player they minimized become the most powerful young figure in football, and maybe sports, period. And unless they pivot fast, they're not just going to lose Shedeur. They're going to lose the future. So here's the final question. Is the NFL ready for players who don't need it? Because Shedeur Sanders just showed them exactly how to build power without permission. And he's not alone. He's just the first to say, I'm not waiting anymore. Shedeur Sanders didn't sign a deal. He declared independence. And not the kind of independence players claim when they make a flashy Instagram post about betting on themselves. No. Shedeur literally bet on himself. Legally, financially, structurally. He turned his name into an enterprise. His likeness into a license. His confidence into capital. And the league? They didn't see it coming. Cleveland, bless their hearts, still thought this was about a quarterback competition. Still treating Shedeur like a rookie they could mold, develop, and eventually maybe, if he earned it, let touch the field. What they failed to realize is that Shedeur wasn't waiting for the huddle. He was building his headquarters. Now he's got an empire. And they've got regrets. This was their moment. Their chance to finally be on the right side of history. To take a dynamic young QB with talent and vision, and show the league they were done living in the past. Instead, they froze. They played it safe. They played it scared. And now Shedeur is playing it smart. He didn't take shots. He didn't throw shade. He just signed one of the most progressive, player-driven deals the NFL has ever seen, without needing a single snap to prove his worth. That's the new standard. And whether teams like it or not, it's here to stay. So the question isn't whether Shedeur can handle the NFL spotlight. He's already outshining it. The real question is, can the NFL handle him? Because make no mistake, this isn't a trend. It's a torch. And Shedeur Sanders is carrying it. Right past Cleveland. Right past the league office. Right into a new era where athletes don't wait to be told they're worth it. They show you they are. And if your organization isn't ready, he's already on to the next one. Now it's your turn. Did Shedeur just rewrite the rules for rookies forever? Should Cleveland be panicking right now? And how soon before every young athlete starts following the Prime Equity playbook? Drop your thoughts in the comments and sound off, because this story is not going away. And if you want more raw, real breakdowns of the moments shaking up the NFL, from player power moves to front office disasters, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Because if Shedeur's the prototype, we're about to see a lot more headlines like this. And we'll be right here, breaking it all down one empire at a time.